In this video we're going to take a look at dates in Excel. We'll start off with something simple here. If you want to enter a date into a cell in Excel, all you do is type in the month and a slash and the day and a slash and the year and hit enter, and it formats that as a date. Couple things to notice here. Even though I only typed in a 2-digit year, it changes the year to 2012. The reason it does that is that prior to the year 2000, Excel, if you typed in a 2-digit date for the year, that's what it would display. And then we had the famous year 2000 problem, which was caused by dates being represented with only a 2-digit year. And since about the year 2000 or a little before, whenever you type in a date in Excel, it automatically displays the year as a 4-digit year unless you go in and change the formatting and tell it you want it displayed otherwise. Okay? So you can enter any date you want to just by doing a month and a slash and the day and a slash and the year. Now, we're going to take a look at this. There's more than one way to format this. You can, right now it's formatted by default as a short date. You can also format it as a long date where it will spell out the word and it'll spell out the day and the month as words rather than using numbers. There's also something interesting we can do here. We can go and say change that to general, and when we do, we get this funny looking number here, 40,927. And where's that number come from? Well, let's try this, the number 40,926, and let's select both of those. And let's tell Excel we want those to be displayed as dates. So, if we subtract 1 from the current date, we get yesterday's date. If we subtract 1 from that, we'll get the day before, and if we keep on going back far enough, we can eventually get to day number 1. But we'll just do this the easy way. What was day number 1 in Excel? Type in the number 1, select it, and tell Excel you want that format as a date, and it will format it as January 1st, 1900. As far as Excel is concerned, the beginning of time was January 1st, 1900. Now, what happens if you type in some numbers that come before that? If I type in 0, and it automatically formatted that as a date for me here, I get January 0, 1900, which makes no sense. If I type in -1, and it's also formatting that as a date for me, I get pound signs, and it turns out that no matter how wide you make that column, pound signs are all you're going to get. So it doesn't like any negative numbers as dates. It really shouldn't like the number 0 as a date, but it does allow you to get away with that, although it really doesn't make any sense. So these numbers here, I'm going to go back and format them as general again. Those numbers are called serial numbers, and it's the way that dates are stored internally in Excel. When it comes time to display that number, if the formatting for the cell is a date, then it computes, 40,927 days since January 1st, 1900, and it figures out that that day is January 19th, 2012, and that's what it displays for you. Now let's go back and format these as dates again. Now, why does Excel do this? The reason it does it is because it makes it easy for it to do date arithmetic. If you want to find out how many days have elapsed between two dates, let's take today's date again. And let's go to the turn of the century, January 1st, 2000. And let's go down here and tell Excel we want to subtract those two, that one minus that one. And it tells us that 4,401 days have elapsed since January 1st, 2000. So the main reason for doing this is so they can do date arithmetic. One more thing I want to point out about dates is you notice they always get right aligned, which is a way of indicating to you that those are numbers. Now, what happens if I try typing in an invalid date, like 12/31/1899? See what happens? It stays on the left. It's not interpreting that as a number. If it's not interpreting it as a number, it's interpreting it as text. So Excel gives you some visual clues here about your dates when you type them in. And that's enough for how dates are represented. We're going to take a look at some simple date functions in the next video.